Hare Krishna, everyone, and welcome back once again to our ongoing series on the glories of our most beloved Sri Vrindavan Dham. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pashtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschachat Deshatarine. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. So we're continuing with our mini-series on Stimulation for Ecstatic Love, and this will be part 85. This lecture will be the start of several classes on musical instruments used in devotional service, which can stimulate our divine love for Krishna. And so today we'll begin with the Mridanga, in the Vedas it said, Na vajnena vina yasmad gitam talash chashobate. This means without instrumental music, there is no beauty in song and rhyme. Without instrumental music, there is no beauty in song and rhyme. And the great Vaishnavacharya, Srila Narahari Chakravarti Thakur, describes in his Bhakti Ratnakara, chapter 5, its text 3109 to 3133. He describes that musical instruments are of four kinds. Tata, which means stringed instruments. Anadam means drums. And shushira. Shushira means wind instruments. And finally, gana, percussion instruments. Now, regarding anadam, drums, which is the theme today, there's different types of drums in Vedic culture used in kirtan to glorify the Lord. There's the pakatpach, which is an elongated wooden drum with a small side and a bigger side. It's played with both hands. There's a dolak, which is similar to the pakavaj, although smaller in size, it makes a louder sound. And then there's the tabla. Devotees are familiar with the tabla, which is actually two drums. One is called daya, which is smaller and played with the right hand, and the other is called bhaya, which is bigger in size and is played with the left hand. Another type of drum is the nagada. It's a large drum, fairly large drum, and it's played with two big wooden sticks. Then comes our favorite as Gaudiya Vaishnavas, that is the Mrdanga. Now, as we know, the Mridanga is made out of terracotta clay and the skin of cows who have died a natural death. I was reading that in Jagannath Puri, the Gaudiya Vaishnava bhajan singers, they say that the Mridanga's larger side is considered as Lord Nityananda Prabhu, and the smaller side is considered as Gadadhar Prabhu. They also say the beats of the Mridanga drum manifested from the lotus mouth of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Gaudiyas in Jagannath Puri. So, a number of drums. But the Shastra, Sri Sangita Dharpana, says Anade Mardala Shrestha. It means the Mardala, which is really just another name for the Mrdanga, is the best of drums. And it goes on. The sound of the Mrdanga is most auspicious and charming. It enhances the beauty of all other instruments. I really like that. The sound of the Mrdanga is most auspicious and charming, and it enhances the beauty of all other instruments. I found in another Shastra, the Sri Sangita Damodar, it is said the Mardala is the best of all musical instruments. When it is made of clay, the Mardala is called the Mridanga. And it goes on, Lord Brahma is always situated in the Mridanga's middle part. The demigods who reside in Brahma's planet are also situated there. Because all the demigods reside in it, the Mridanga is all auspicious. And the Sangita Damodar concludes, this is interesting. A Mridanga player should be sober, well-versed in instrumental techniques. He should be eloquent, expert in the beats, that's talas, given in a sequence of syllables, bholas. He should be able to play all the sounds, gamakas. He should be expert in accompanying dance performances and songs with the drum. He should be cheerful, easily proficient in playing his instrument, and quick-fingered. We sometimes see the Mrdanga player. He has to be quick-fingered. A nice definition of a Mrdanga player. Now, I was actually able to find the prana mantra of the Mrdanga, which is Mridanga Brahma Rupaya Lavanam Rasa Madhuri Sahasra Guna Samyuktam Mridangaya Namo Namaha. The Mridanga is the very form of transcendental gracefulness and sweet enchantment. It has 1,000 different qualities. I bow down again and again to the Mridanga drum. Hare Krishna. Now the ancient Vedic text, Bhavasindhu Tarani, Bhavasindhu Tarani, therein it is said, some of the ingredients of Samkirtan, which means, of course, glorification of the Lord by singing and dancing and playing musical instruments, some of the ingredients are the kol, or mridanga, the kartala, the hand cymbals, the shinga, or the vishana, which means the horn. So you may have seen in old paintings or pictures of the Panchatattva, Mahaprabhu, Nitai, and the devotees are dancing. Sometimes you see these long horns. We don't have it in our movement today, but 500 years ago they had these long horns. They're called shringa or vishana. They're part of the assembly. And then karatali, meaning there's also the clapping of hands, and nritya, dancing. And finally, what is it? Lutana. Lutana means actually literally rolling on the ground. So it goes on to say that in this assembly, which makes up Sankirtan, glorification of the Lord, or Kirtan, the Mridanga speaks when it's played. The Mridanga actually speaks. It says, diktan, diktan, dig etan. Diktan, diktan, dig etan. And Pandits of ancient times have ascertained that this message that the Mridanga is conveying, when it makes this sound, is as follows. Here's the message. It's sending a message to everyone. To those people who have no devotion for the lotus feet of Srimad Yashoda Sutta, Krishna, to those whose tongues are not lovingly attached to speaking of the transcendental qualities of the beloved of the cowherd girls, to those whose ears are not fond of hearing the katha of the charming qualities of Sri Krishna's divine pastimes, I say, Mrdanga, I say, fie unto them, fie unto them, fie unto them. Thus speaks the Mridanga during Kirtan. Wow. So, regarding kartals, or hand cymbals, the Bhavasindhu Tarani says, during Sankirtan, the kartals ring out their famous 1-2-3 rhythm, 1-2-3 rhythm, which conveys the following 3 messages to the devotees. I will be victorious over death. I will be victorious over Yamaraj, and I will very happily be victorious over all his servants. By hearing the sound of the kartals from afar, these 3, death, Yamaraj, and his servants, certainly do not come anywhere near the performers of Kirtan. Regarding Vishana, or that horn, Bhavasindhu Tarani says, when devotion arises during Namasankirtan, it acts like a fire to burn to ashes the impurities within the mind. Therefore, the auspicious horn blasts away this residue by the sound issuing forth from the path of its tube. As for karatali, meaning during kirtan there's clapping of hands, the Bhava Sindhu Tarani says, alas, residing in the tree of the body are certainly many birds of sin, but they are undoubtedly chased away by the clapping of the hands during kirtan. And as for nritya or lutana, dancing, and it also includes rolling on the ground, Bhava Sindhu Tarani says, alas, I have passed so many days engaged in fruitive activities that are bound by karma according to my own intelligence. By that, I have fallen far away from the Father of the universe, and I have not been able to put an end to my misery. Therefore today, I shall behave as a child and dance with abandon. As I raise my arms aloft, then I will cry and roll about in the dust. Just see, will he not be merciful and take me onto his own lap? Small children are prone to beg attention from their fathers. A child puts his arms up in the air, dances around, and calls out to the father, who responds by taking the child into his lap and shows him love. But if the father does not respond right away, the child cries and rolls on the ground. Seeing this is intolerable for the kind father who picks the child up. In this mood, dancing and rolling on the ground are an integral part of the performance of Sankirtan and are meant to petition the favor of the all-merciful Lord, the Supreme Father. Therefore, there is no doubt, by these practices one attains special benefit. So of course dancing we do, but we don't roll on the ground. That's not part of our Sankirtan. But I was thinking, I've seen in India many times when people come, there's kirtan, they come before the deity, they're paying obeisances, and they roll a little bit to the left and a little bit to the right, very respectfully, and they get up. Just trying to get the deity's attention. So we can do that, but we don't like roll over on the ground. Prabhupada didn't encourage us. But it appears in the old days, devotees were doing that to get the attention of the Supreme Father. Hare Krishna. So we can see why in Lord Chaitanya's Sankirtan movement, this one instrument, the Mridanga, is played and will play for the next 10,000 years of the golden age of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement. It will play such an essential role. Lord Chaitanya is quoted in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Lila 3:19 as follows: Yuga Dharma Pravartaimu Namasen Kirtan Chari Bhava Bhakti Diya Nachamu Bhuvana. I shall personally inaugurate the religion of the age, Nama Sankirtan, the congregational chanting of the holy name. I shall make the world dance in ecstasy, realizing the four mellows of loving devotional service. So Mahaprabhu came to introduce the Sankirtan movement. And just how did he inaugurate this singing and dancing? Well, Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Lila 17, verse 135 says, during Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's time, one party was composed of 21 men with 4 people playing mridangas, 1 leading the chanting, and 16 others striking kartals while responding to the leading chanter. He introduced the Yuga Dharma, which is chanting Hare Krishna, in this fashion. 4 people were playing mridangas. 1 was leading the chanting, and in his Sankirtan party, 16 devotees were striking kartals. We would say playing kartals. This is the authorized process. This is how the Sankirtan movement was begun. So all glories to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And the following mantra, I found, has come down through our Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya and is chanted with love by many kirtaniers in Braj and in Mayapur and Orissa. Namo Jagannathaya Shutaya, Namo Mridangaya Namaha. Lavanya Rasa Madhur Yashrasa, Guna Samyuktam, Namo Mrdangaya, Namo Namo, Namo Baladevaya, Namo Namaha. A beautiful translation. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the son of Jagannath Mishra, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I offer my obeisances to the Mridanga, from which sweet and nectarian sounds emanate. I offer my obeisances again and again unto the Mridanga, who has thousands of good qualities. And I offer my obeisances unto Lord Baladev, who assumes the form of the Mridanga to serve Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Whew. So because this amazing drum, the Mridanga, is also so prominent and so important in the modern day pastimes of Lord Chaitanya's movement, including our International Society for Krishna Consciousness, our Srila Prabhupada wrote to his disciple, my godbrother Bahudak, on November 10th, 1975. My dear Bahudak, please accept my blessings. I am in due receipt of your letter dated September 23rd, and I have noted the contents. I'm glad to note that you are taking out the traveling party, traveling Sankirtan. I hope you have good success. Just do everything very soberly. Regarding the instruments, stringed instruments are Vedic, but the real Vedic instrument is Mrdanga and Kartal. Wow. Regarding the instruments, stringed instruments are Vedic, but the real Vedic instrument is the Mridanga and the Kartal. I was so happy to read that. We can also appreciate how important the Mridanga drum was to our beloved Srila Prabhupada by his arrival lecture on March 3rd, 1975 in Dallas, Texas. In that lecture, I was listening to it the other day, he was speaking affectionately about his father, Gora Mohan Dey, when he said, whenever some saintly person would come, my father would ask him, please bless my son that he can become a servant of Radharani. That was his prayer. He never prayed for anything. And he gave me education how to play the Mridanga. My mother was against. My mother was against. There were two teachers. One for teaching me A, B, C, D, and one for teaching the Mrdanga. So the one teacher was waiting, and the other teacher was teaching me how to play the Mrdanga. So my mother would be angry that, what is this nonsense? You are teaching Mridanga? What will he do with this Mrdanga? Little did she know. Prabhupada went on. But perhaps my father wanted that I should be a great Mridanga player in the future. And there's lots of laughter in the background. Devotees are appreciating. Therefore, I am very much indebted to my father, and I've dedicated my book, Krishna book, to him. He wanted this. He wanted me to be a preacher of Bhagavata, Srimad Bhagavatam, and player of Mridanga, and to become a servant of Radharani. So every parent should think like that. Otherwise one should not become father and mother. That is the injunction of Shastra. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Actually, we can consider that it was Prabhupada's plan to utilize the Mridanga in his mission here in the West from the very beginning. I remember reading that as early as possible he ordered a drum to come from India, because we see in some of the earlier videos Prabhupada was just playing the bongo, that two Western drum in Tompkins Square Park and in San Francisco. He wanted a Mridanga. That's very clear. On January 25th, 1968, he wrote to his disciple Hansaduta Das. Another proposal is I want to form a Sankirtan party in which 2 members will play Mridanga, 8 will play the cymbals, 2 will play on tambura, and 1 harmonium. Besides that, there will be the leader of the party. This party will be so trained that exhibitions of our chanting and dancing, along with the distribution of prasadam, will be performed on a stage. And for this performance, we will sell tickets to the public. It will be known as a spiritual movement, including the Mrdanga. Furthermore, on January 30th, 1969, he wrote to my beloved godbrother, Brahmananda Prabhu, "My Guru Maharaj indicated that the Mridanga and the press are the mediums of our missionary propaganda activities, and we shall follow his path in the same way. We must have large quantities of mridangas for vibrating in different parts of the world, and we must distribute our literature also." So, in the early days of the movement, when devotees would visit India for festivals, etc., I remember they would bring back the traditional, original clay mridangas, but there simply weren't enough for the number of kirtan parties chanting in America and around the world. There was the Hare Krishna explosion. But unfortunately, being made of clay, they would often break. Devotees didn't sometimes take proper care, they would break. So eventually, devotees in Los Angeles, some wonderful devotees in Los Angeles, started a small business making fiberglass mridangas that were strong and unbreakable. And they called them very appropriately Balaram Mridangas. They're famous now, Balaram Mridangas. And Srila Prabhupada was greatly encouraged by this. On November 9th, 1975, he wrote a letter to Bharadraj Das, one of the original musicians in ISKCON. Prabhupada wrote to him, "Regarding the mridanga making, this is a very, very important item. It will open up a great scope of our activities, so it should be done very carefully. I want to see large production." So then at the next Gaur Purnima festival in Mayapur, when some devotees came from Los Angeles, they came with several of the brand new Balaram Mridangas. And they were colorful, and they were lightweight, and everyone was excited about them, like a new drum for ISKCON, a new drum for ISKCON. And while entering Srila Prabhupada's room one evening, Prabhupada was giving darshan, these devotees from Los Angeles carefully placed one of these newly made Balaram Mridangas on Prabhupada's desk where he was sitting. And everyone was holding their breath, waiting to see if Srila Prabhupada liked it. So placing it on his lap, Srila Prabhupada very, how could you say, deftly and expertly played several beats. And then sitting back, he said very matter-of-factly, "It's dead." It is dead, meaning the sound was dead. Boom, it didn't make... Mridanga players are very particular. You see before the kirtans there, put a little water on the drum and moving it and getting the tone of the drum properly. This boom was dead. So devotees were devastated. But back in the USA, after the festival, these devotees, they made big improvements on the drum. And later Srila Prabhupada expressed his pleasure with the drums. In September 26, 1976, Prabhupada wrote to Karandar Das, "My dear Karandar, please accept my blessings. I am in due receipt of your letter, and I have noted the contents." Then Prabhupada writes, "If you make 2,500 mridangas per year, that will be very good. Then distribute them to the whole of the American people." I'm quoting verbatim here. "If you make 2,500 mridangas per year, that is very good. Then distribute them to the whole of the American people." Prabhupada thought big. Hoping this meets you in good health, your ever well wisher, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. So the rest is history. The rest is history. And now the whole world is resounding with the sound of the sacred mridanga drum, giving great pleasure to the devotees of the Lord and purifying the hearts of anyone who hears it. Devotees love the mridanga. It represents the Sankirtan movement. In fact, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, the pioneer of the Krishna conscious movement in the modern era, he wrote in his song, Shuddha Bhakata Charana Reno, famously, Mridanga Bhajya Sunite Mana, Abhashara Shada Yache, Gora Bihita Kirtana Shuni, Anande Hridoya Nache. I love this part. When I hear the sound of the mridanga, in my heart I always desire to join in the kirtan. And when I hear the bona fide songs describing Lord Chaitanya's pastimes, my heart dances in ecstasy. When I hear the bona fide songs describing Lord Chaitanya's pastimes, my heart dances in ecstasy. Hare Krishna. I'd like to finish today with a beautiful quote from the Krishna Bhavanamrita, chapter 19 by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. It describes how the mridanga also plays a very special role in Krishna's pastimes in Goloka Vrindavan, in the spiritual world. I was thinking, as we play it here, we also hope one day to play it there. As we play it here, we also hope one day to play it there. So this is what Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur wrote. Krishna cleverly broke out of the gopi circle in the rasa dance and said, "Dear girls, now please dance wonderfully, one after the other." Sri Lalita agreed and began to dance most beautifully, while the mridanga drum played Didhi Drum 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 Kutut Tukita. Then Vishaka and the other Sakis showed their skill in dancing, one after the other. Krishna relished this while swinging his head to and fro constantly along with Sri Radhika's. He was very satisfied with these performances. Then all the Sakis gathered and encouraged Radha and Krishna to dance while they accompanied them with sweet songs. They played on the mridanga, Tatta Didhi Tat Kata Grigi Tat Tat Tadi Ti Tati Gita Griti Tat on the mridangas. These sounds came to Radha and Krishna like sweet nectar for their ears. The sound of the drum is the music to the ears of Radha and Krishna in the spiritual world, and to ours now here in this material world. So thank you, Prabhus. It was nectarian, it was so blissful, researching and finding all this wonderful information and pastimes of the mridanga drum. And we'll be back next week with another musical instrument. At the moment, I'm on the Baltic Sea coast in Poland. We're having our 34th annual Festival of India tour here. I have about 300 devotees with me, and we're relishing going out every day, playing the mridanga and the kartals and dancing and singing, inviting people to our evening festival programs. We have about 40 festivals to do this summer. It's practically a festival every day, but we're practicing, right? Because in the spiritual world, we hear there's a festival every day. So this is Sadhan Bhakti. We're practicing having a festival every day, but for the people. That's the special nature of our festivals, that we're doing it for the people, so they get to a little taste of what is this wonderful world of Krishna consciousness. So please give us your blessings. See you next Friday. Shri Shri Gaur Nitai ki, Shri Shri Krishna Balaram ki, Shri Shri Radha Shama Sundar ki, Vrindavaneshwari Shrimati Radharani ki, Mayapur Dham ki, Gaur Nitai ki, Shri Krishna Sankirtan Yagya ki, Nitai Gaur Premanandi, Jai Jai Sri Sri Radhe Shyam. Glories to Sri